Hello everybody. I thought just as we are all beginning to return to work, it feels to me like there is a really high level of fear going on, that we're all very concerned about the virus and how it's going to affect our reflexology treatments. And I thought it might be useful just to do a quick viral 101, if you like, just a quick recap about the virus and how it is likely or not likely that we're going to get it. So let's start from the very beginning. There was something on the BBC recently that said the R rate was overemphasised or over calculated when the lockdown started to release in England, and that it said that there was that the actual infection rate was 13 people in 10,000 people. So I just want you to keep that in mind, because that's a very small number. Now obviously in certain areas there have been spikes, and those spikes, if you're in those areas, you will know about them, because there has been some lockdown and some increased restrictions on movement and things like that. But generally we have to remember that across the country the actual number of infected people are actually very low. Now we need to think about how you get the infection. So this particular virus does not spread through your skin. It does not spread through any other route apart from the respiratory system. The breathing out, speaking, breathing out, breathing in, speaking, shouting, singing. This is what causes the problems. There is also one other route, and that other route is through the fecal route, but I don't know about you. I've never had anyone poo on my reflexology table, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Now, a lot of the clinical training courses that people have been on seem to be semi-obsessed by the whole concept of body fluids. Now, in our particular case, the body fluids that we'll be looking at will be those respiratory droplets, so droplets, aerosol, things that come out of the mouth and nose. Now, when you are working in a high clinical area, there's lots of those flying around, and therefore you need an extra visor to protect the eyes, nose and mouth. But you can also protect the mouth and nose by using a face covering, and this is what we're suggesting to prevent you passing your droplets to your client, or your client passing their droplets to you in the important areas. You wear a face covering. It may depend on your insurance company though. Your insurance company may require you to wear a mask, and if that's the case you might need to may require you to wear a visor, and if that's the case you will maybe have to wear a visor over the top. So this is the main point for you to get an infection from. The secondary main point is something called a fomite. Now, a fomite is any inanimate object where the virus falls on the inanimate object and you pick it up on your hands. So hard surfaces particularly has been found that you can have this issue. So you pick it up on your hands and then you transfer it to your face. In those particular conditions, you are the expectation is that the virus is staying for a long time on the hard surfaces, and then you are picking up enough virus to get onto your face and then get into your system, and enough virus once in the system to then set up an infection. Small amounts of the virus do not set up infections because your immune system deals with it. It has to be quite a load, which is why there are a lot of people who were meeting lots of people getting sick, so bus drivers, people who work in ICU, etc. So those are the two main routes of infection. So the mouth infection route is helped or mitigated by the face covering, and the hand infection from hard surfaces is mitigated by your washing and your cleaning between clients. Now the only other route that is possible is through soft furnishings. So your blankets, for example, and we're saying don't use blankets unless you have a clean one for everyone, but we really don't know the level of transference on soft furnishings. So again, don't be too overly concerned about soft furnishings that aren't going to be touched, because the soft furnishing route of transmission onto hands and then onto face is very unknown. Right, so now we know the transmission routes, we now need to think about the people, the 13 people in 10,000 people, in a group of 10,000, and we need to think about them being in this sort of arrangement. So what we've got here is this is all 13 people out of 10,000. On one end we've got the sticky hospital end, and on the other we've got normals. So the sticky hospital end here, these are people that have really high viral loads. Every time they breathe, they are putting out droplets of virus, breathing in, breathing out. Specifically with this sort of group as well, they might be intubated to have oxygen into their lungs, and then they will need to be extubated. So there's ins and outs causing splashes. Now that splashing business is where you also need a visor. You not only need a mask, you need a visor because it protects your eyes. Now these are usually HDU and ICU patients, and they are maximally 15% of the people that actually have COVID-19. Only about 15% end up in hospital, and sadly about 5% of those 15% die. So, but we're not going to have anything to do with these people, not unless you are specifically asked to go into hospital to treat one, and it's highly unlikely. So not for us. The next group is this group. The next group are the sick group. These are going to be self-isolating. They already know all of the symptoms. They won't be trolling around, one would hope, anymore. They can go and get a test really quickly. There's still maybe a couple of days though when they don't really know whether they've got COVID or not. And these will be showing symptoms and they will be self-isolating. Now these will also be all of those clients that come to see you with a cold and they go, oh, I thought I'd come and see you, it would make me feel better. Hopefully they won't be coming to see you anymore. So hopefully you won't be getting sick from standard cold people either. So again, we don't have anything to do with these. These are quarantined, self-isolating, nothing to do with us. So then you get the green pot. These are our green to goes. These are normal. They have no symptoms, but they might be asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic. It's not really understood how many of the population have this ability to either have no symptoms and not get sick at all, but still be able to pass on the virus, or to not yet have symptoms, so to be on the way and being able to pass on the virus but not yet have symptoms. These are obviously going to have an awful lot less virus than these, because these have been sick for an awful lot of time and it's really ingrained in the lungs. So these are the ones that we will be treating. So all our mitigation processes, our care, our cleaning, our face coverings, our keeping a dedicated uniform for the work during the day. You only have to change it at the end of the day unless you've been sneezed on without a face covering. All of that mitigation is to prevent the pre-symptomatic and asymptomatic transference through our treatment rooms. These are actually really unlikely. You have to remember that the whole lot, oh, I've got them back to front, but the whole lot was estimated to only be 13 people in 10,000 people. So this amount is going to be a tiny amount, and then you've got to work out of those people how many people actually come to reflexology, how many people actually choose to come to reflexology, and you'd have already taken these two groups away. So I just want you to recognize that the chances of actually seeing somebody with COVID-19 in your treatment room is very, very small indeed. And I think I really hope that that's going to help take away some of the fear about returning to work. There is still a risk. We do need to follow the government guidelines. We do need to keep cleaning. We do need to be aware and careful, but it is a relatively low risk to us as reflexologists, and we really need to hang on to that and work with it. And lots of people have already gone back to work and they're already saying it's fine once you get used to it. So anybody that's thinking about it, maybe just realise that it might not be as frightening as you think. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thank you.